with your host, Dr. Bill Bushing. Speaking of sharks, Palau and the countries in Micronesia have established the world's largest shark sanctuary, recognizing that these cartilaginous fish bring divers to Palau from all over the world. As I told several of the lady divers in our groups, they had nothing to fear from sharks. After all, they are man-eaters. While on Two Dog Island, I saw a pile of very deadly coconuts. They kill far more people each year than sharks do. We no longer see sharks in the waters off my island like we used to in the 60s and 70s, so I have to travel far and wide to film them. The gray reef shark is perhaps the most common species in the Indo-Pacific region. It is generally no longer than 8 feet and reaches weights of a paltry 80 pounds. I'm way out of its weight class, so it wouldn't even be a fair fight if it came to that. But these sharks are not aggressive. They are reportedly quite social and adopt a dominance hierarchy, although I saw few obvious interactions between individuals. This species prefers fish and cephalopods, such as octopus and squid. It uses its extremely sensitive sense of smell to detect prey from a distance. They may also work in groups to trap fish against the steep walls. Like most reef sharks, the eggs of this species develop inside the female, and 1 to 6 young are born live after a 9 to 14-month pregnancy. Sadly, this species only mates every other year, but then that's still more often than me. Another species I observed with frequency was the white-tip reef shark. You'd think with a species name like Obesus, it would be a fatso, but actually this shark is very slender. It may reach the same length as a gray reef shark, although they are usually shorter, but it is about half its weight. The white tip on the dorsal and tail fins is characteristic, as is the unusual manner in which it swims. This species is not the same as the oceanic white tip, which is considered potentially dangerous. The reef white tip is often seen resting on the bottom during the day, sometimes in fairly large groups. Unlike other sharks in the requiem shark family, this species does not need to swim to pass oxygenated water across its gills. White tips are slow and somewhat awkward swimmers, which limits their ability to pursue food during the day. Therefore, they hunt mostly at night when their munchies are sleeping. Their slender shape allows them to get into the nooks and crannies of the reef, easier than other sharks. Among their victims are eels, smaller bony fish, octopus, and crustaceans such as crab and lobster. The last shark species I saw in Palau was the zebra or leopard shark, and it hightailed it off the bottom as I approached, so I didn't get very good video. Divers come to Palau from all over the world to view and film the incredible manta ray. These rays are related to our own bat rays off Southern California, but may reach 23 feet in wingspan. Before going to Palau, I had only seen manta rays in the Georgia Aquarium with my nephew David. They are also known as devilfish due to the horn-shaped cephalic extensions on their head that funnel food into the mouth. Other common names include the black-spotted ray, black-blotched stingray, fantail ray, fantail stingray, giant reef ray, blotched fantail ray, and speckled stingray. They must have serious identity issues, I only deal with two personalities, since I'm a Gemini. Most dive operators, including Palau Dive Adventures, take you to German Channel to see them. Divers wait quietly near the manta ray cleaning station for them to appear. However, during March there weren't many seen there. We traveled up north to find about 20 to 24 individuals feeding. They are the only ray that has evolved into a filter feeder, surviving on a diet of tiny plankton. To mate, the male swims behind the female and usually grasps her left pectoral fin. They may only live 50 years, so no chance for Social Security. The greatest threat to them is overfishing. Thousands are caught for their gill rakers, which are used in Chinese medicine, and some use their fins as well. Fortunately, they are strictly protected in international waters as of 2011. The only other ray I saw was the marbled stingray, or round ribbon-tail ray, which may reach nearly 6 feet across. They are usually nocturnal and prey on small bottom-dwelling fish, mollusks, and crustaceans. Turtles are rarely seen in the temperate waters surrounding my island, so they are a real thrill when I spot them elsewhere. The green turtle is the most common one in Palau, and the only other one I saw was the hawksbill. You can distinguish them by the plates or scutes on their back and head region, as well as by the shape of the carapace or shell. The green turtle has one pair of prefrontal scutes before the eyes, and there are two on the hawksbill. The green reportedly may reach 4 feet and weigh up to 500 pounds, making it the second largest after the leatherback. The young are carnivorous, but the adults feed primarily on algae, seagrasses, and other marine plant life, making them somewhat unique among sea turtles. The name comes from the color of their fat, not their shell. Green turtles are sexually mature between 20 and 50 years. Oh my. Females return to the same beaches where they were born, and therefore may be highly migratory. Both the eggs and the meat are harvested by some cultures, and the IUCN considers them endangered. The United States also listed them under the Endangered Species Act, since they can be found in the San Diego region and occasionally up in Catalina waters. Other threats include entrapment in fishing gear. I'm not too pleased with this bad boy. We've all been taught never to rest our bodies on the reef. Hawksbill turtles have overlapping scutes on their carapace. They are solitary nesters that may lay eggs about 4 times a season. They feed mostly on sponges, but may also eat sea anemones, sea jellies, and algae. Hawksbill turtles were taken for their shells in the tortoiseshell trade, but that is now banned. They are considered critically endangered by IUCN since their population has declined more than 80% in the last century. Well, that completes the critters I saw in Palau. Hey divers, what did you think of diving here? What? Just okay? I thought it was spectacular. After all the lovey-dovey stuff with our newlyweds Todd and Christina the first week, we decided to leave them out on Two Dog Island. However, watching them bill and coo reawakened feelings of romance in my solo-diving, cold, scientific heart. Shucks, even the butterfly fish were paired up. I got up my nerve, turned to the two lovely sisters I referred to as the Singapore Sirens, and asked each of them if they'd be in my harem, be my girlfriend.
No, you're as old as my dad. No, you're older than my dad.
I'll add your ages together and then we'll be okay.
No, it's not gonna work. No.
Well, at least I fell in love with Palau, and it has surpassed the Philippines and Tahiti as my new favorite destination. Although I could have gotten a visa to stay in Palau for a year, my return ticket gave me just 2.5 weeks there. I checked out of the hotel, and Cheryl picked me up in the Palau Dive Adventures van and gave me a ride to the Palau airport. Our flight arrived late in Taiwan, so China Airlines staff rushed us to the security screening room, only to find the doors locked and no one had the key. It didn't matter because our Boeing 777's departure was delayed anyway. I made it back to the island the next day, back to cold water and long hours at my editing computer to bring you this video. Stay tuned for future dive travels of Lonely Dr. Bill. Sniff.